Good evening. Today is January 8, 2024. The regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of Brackett ISD. It is now 6 o'clock. We do have a quorum present. If you'll please stand for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 2, public comments to the board. Is Jamie Ballou, meeting protocol?
First of all, thank you all for your service, because I see on the agenda tonight's board appreciation, so thank you all for your service. I have a couple of questions or concerns that I hope can be addressed. Beginning in December, the posted agenda for your meetings changed dramatically. The community can no longer see the over $500 check run and other documents which had further explained each agenda item without submitting a Freedom of Information Act form. And then we have to wait for you to provide that information to the individual requesting. There's no way an entire community can request that, and it's unfortunate that information that had been made available to the community for as long as I can remember. I taught here for 23 years, and that was always the protocol, was that information was always available. Though you may not be legally required to share these things, this agenda change makes it feel like you are choosing to be less transparent. In the interest of transparency, accountability, and encouraging involvement from the community, I hope you will reconsider this change. Secondly, in December at the meeting, which I was unable to attend, one item in closed session was, pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, discussion regarding facilities assessment. While it's very understandable that specific security plans of action might need to be discussed in closed session, any other discussion about the facilities assessment and future building or renovation plans should be discussed in open session. I apologize for the speed with which I've had to speak, but in December we were also told that public comment was going to be cut from 5 minutes to 2 minutes. This was just one more measure that might give the impression that you do not really welcome community involvement, and I sincerely hope that's not true. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3, school board appreciation. Ms. Diaz.
January is designated as School Board Appreciation Month, and so we did receive a proclamation from the governor, which I would like to read to you all today. It comes from the State of Texas Office of the Governor. As a nation always looking toward the future, we are continuously challenged to ensure that young Americans are empowered with the diligence, skills, and responsibility necessary to succeed at the challenges before them. It is through a quality education that we place students firmly on the path to a lifetime of excellence and achievement. This has been the mission of educators and administrators throughout our state. Ensuring an excellent education is the work of many, and local school boards collaborate with teachers, parents, and stakeholders to promote state and national standards in ways that reflect the community's values. By so doing, they inspire a lifelong love of learning for the next generation of Texas leaders. At this time, I encourage all Texans to celebrate the more than 7,000 school board members across the Lone Star State. Their commitment to education and their communities represent the best of Texas, and they will have a key role to play as we strive to secure the future of the Lone Star State. Therefore, I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, do hereby proclaim January 2024 to be School Board Recognition Month. So on behalf of Brackett ISD, I do just want to thank you all for your service, for your dedication, for your commitment. It does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. There's a small token of our appreciation in the golden bags that come from the district for all of you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, consent agenda. You'll take a minute to look over those, please.
Ms. Price and Mr. Jimenez are out sick, but if you have any questions on their uploaded reports, I will do my best to answer them.
Anyone have any questions? I have a motion by Tully to approve the consent agenda. Second by Witt. All in favor? Unanimous. Moving on to item number 5, information items.
So the first information item is the attendance report, and we've been sharing those with you at the end of every 6 weeks, just so we can monitor where we are in regards to attendance, because of course attendance plays a big role in our funding. So the end of the third 6 weeks did end on the 21st of December, so you have the attendance by grade level. December is typically a rough month for us, just because of weather change and holidays and all of that good stuff. We did still have 4 grade levels that met the goal of above 95%. Third grade was at 95.81. Fifth grade was at 95.06. Sixth grade was at 95.48. And then our 7th graders were in the lead with 96.31. So it was nice to see those elementary grade levels come up, because I think for the second 6 weeks, it was mostly secondary grades that were above that 95%. Our total for the third 6 weeks was 93.94, which, although that is a low percentage, it is a higher percentage than what our reports show that we were at this time last year. Just by a little, but still higher. Last year we were at 93.2. So almost hitting that 94 mark. So we continue to work on motivating and putting different things in place to increase attendance.
Do you see flex days? Having flex days, how do you think that's factored in?
So I've heard more probably from the secondary than the elementary. Mr. Jimenez really feels like the flex day is working as motivation. We don't have as many students because we used to do Saturday school, so now we do the Flex Day Fridays. So we're not having as many kids having to come for attendance reasons, so they'd rather be off. So I do think it is impacting secondary. I don't know how y'all feel about attendance.
Numbers are about the same.
And again, we've had this conversation before. At the secondary, there is more student choice in coming to school and getting here on time versus at elementary. They do count on the parents to ensure that, that they get here. But I do think Flex Days have had a positive impact.
Want to write B, the TAPR report?
So the TAPR report is the Texas Academic Performance Report. This is the report that comes out from the state of Texas. It can be found online. And it is generally the report that gives districts their ratings. So this year we did not receive it until December 15th, and that is due to the pending lawsuits that have been filed by different districts because of the change in the accountability system. What happened at the end of last year was that they changed the test, increasing the level of rigor, and then also changed the passing standards. And they did it all within the same testing school year. Whereas in the past, when the state was going to make a change, we had that transition time. So there was no transition time. And so many school districts were going to take a hit in their accountability system. So the state has put a hold, so no ratings are being released. So you'll see on the very front cover that basically it just has our name and district. A lot of this information has been shared with the board already in the form of STAR scores. So where we saw big improvements were 4th grade math, 7th grade reading, 8th grade math, Algebra 1, biology, and U.S. history. In all of those areas, we showed improvements from last year. Then we showed increases above the state average and above the region. There are a number of areas where we may not have shown an increase from last year. However, our scores were still above the state and the in our region. So the state scores, the STAR scores are there. The other thing that is included in the TAPR report, if you look towards the bottom, towards the last few pages, 28 of 32, it has all our students by instructional program. So the number of students that are being serviced in bilingual, the number of students that are being serviced in CTE, in GT, and in special ed. We look at that data to see where we are in comparison to the state, just to kind of see, do we need to, are we under-identifying, are we over-identifying, what are our special programs look like? We do have an area of concern where I would say we were above the state, and we continue to see a rise, and that is within special education. So we went from 12, the state is at 12%, and we're at 17%. And that number, if you compare it from year to year, it has gone up. The other thing I did want to take note of was page 29 of 32. I know that there's been some concern about class size. And so if you look at the class size information that's reported on the TAPR, you see our district class size and then the state class size. And overall, we are below the state average in regards to class size. Just one example would be first grade. The state average is 19 last year. So again, remember the data is always a year old. So last year we had 12 students per first grade. Again, those will change when we see this coming up TAPR report because we did do some things to realign. We went with putting 2 certified teachers and then having a paraprofessional providing assistance. So their class size did go up a little bit, but we were still significantly below the state. So this data will be shared with our district advisory committee at the next meeting. It is the data that we use to determine what professional development we want to have, what resources we need to purchase. It's also used to develop our district goals, which in turn then looks at campus goals and again impacts PD and resources. So we got it December 5th. So with the next district advisory meeting, this is something that we will share. One of the things that we have already done, because we do see an area of need in the area of reading and math, is the purchase of that new curriculum, Eureka and Amplify, which is reading and math at the elementary levels.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Moving on to item C, discussion regarding Kinney County Appraisal District tax collection and appraisal contracts and board of directors ballot.
So this item was placed on the agenda as an informational item in open session after our special call meeting where we did have some conversation in regards to the Kinney County Appraisal District. And one of the things that we just kind of wanted to outline was how we got here. So we were requested to submit a resolution to the CAB on October 13th, by October 13th, for our nominee. We were not having our meeting until October 16th, so we did request an extension. We did, as a school board, meet on October 16th, and we did make a nomination for the appraisal board. We did submit that verbally, so a phone call was made, and it was accepted. A few weeks later, we did receive a nomination ballot, and our nominee was not on the ballot. In reaching out to the appraisal district, it was due to the fact that we did not submit a resolution. It needed to be done through a resolution. As the school board, we then proceeded to get some legal advice and find out if there was anything that could be done so that way a school board member could sit on the board. We were advised by our school attorney that we could do a write-in candidate. So we had our December our meeting. We did cast our ballots to a write-in candidate. Right before Christmas break, we did receive a letter that our write-in candidate was not accepted, and it was because of an attorney general opinion that was already out there. In speaking to legal, they did provide us with different options that we had, that we could pursue this further. However, we feel like it's in the best interest of the district right now not to pursue this any further. We do not feel that it is financially the responsible thing to do, because we would be incurring quite a bit of legal fees. Two other things that were discussed was the possibility of, upon reviewing the contract, that we could get out of our contract with the Kinney County Appraisal District and start to collect our own taxes. That would require some planning. We do have to give 30-day notice. It is an option that we have and can continue to look into in the future. Again, it would require some planning to make sure that we have the right person in place to do that, if that is the direction that the school wants to go. We did receive a copy of the contract, and then we do now have the resolution that the board approved for the 321. So we have a contract with the county, with the CAD. We have the 321 resolution. Right now, we do not feel like we need to pursue any other action unless the board feels like we want to go a different direction at a later date. But at this time, it's just to kind of let everybody know where we are in regards to that.
And that contract was back in 86?
I believe it was 1986.
Anybody have any questions, comments?
I have I want to see my position regarding that matter. I have it written down. The Kinney County Appraisal District is a public office serving Kinney County taxing entities and taxpayers. Chief Appraiser Todd Tate's response of 12/18/23 to the appraisal board election was dumbfounding. BISD is the largest taxing body served by CAD. It was reasonable for BISD to nominate a trustee to serve on the appraisal board. BISD board members are elected by the Kinney County voters. Each trustee possesses a vast amount of experience and knowledge. Mr. Tate and the board's action to reject a school board nominee via the ballot or accept the writing candidate for the election was unreasonable. Also, the nominee was dismissed by CAD using a 1984 Texas Attorney General opinion. Relevant Texas statute was not even referenced in marginalizing the school board's nominee. BID's decision not to challenge CAD's action is due to the potential cost to the school district. Now, patience is our only alternative as a current course of action.
Anybody else?
I have this for the minutes.
Moving on to item number 6, action items. A, consideration and take possible action regarding resolution related to Texas Education Code section 23.001.
So back in the summer, the Senate Bill 763 was passed as part of the updated legislative session. We always get guidance from TASB anytime there's a policy update. We have done policy update 122, which is all of the policies that are required to be updated. We had not done this specific one regarding Senate Bill 763. This is the one where basically it states that a district is permitted to hire a chaplain to provide counseling services. So we did get, again, some guidance from TASB. A lot of the questions had to do with what is it that we're currently doing, because that's what we want our policy to state, what we're currently doing. So currently, we do not hire chaplains as counselors or to provide counseling services. Now, I do want to make it clear that this does not mean that we cannot invite a chaplain, a pastor, a priest to mentor, to work with the students, of course, with permission from the parents. So it's not to say that they can't come into the schools, but basically that a chaplain would not be designated as a BISD chaplain on a volunteer basis or on a salary basis. So the resolution is listed there for the school district to adopt. And we needed to take action before March 1st. So we're still within the required timeline.
Any questions? Any more motion?
So I move that we adopt the resolution related to Texas Education Code section 23.001 as presented, and attach said resolution to the minutes as of this meeting.
I have a motion from Witt to approve the resolution of the board to not employ or accept as volunteer chaplains. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Ricky. All in favor?
You said not?
Right.
I guess I missed that.
We're not gonna employ or accept as volunteers chaplains, like designated position.
So if you read this, it's this part right here, does not permit. We do not permit the district to employ or accept as volunteers and chaplains who provide support services.
All in favor? Four and one abstain. Moving on to item B, consideration and possible action to approve the equipment rental agreement with Kinney County for the May 4th, 2024 School Board of Trustee General Election.
So this is just the same contract that we put out every year for the voting rental machine. We will be having Board of Trustees elections on May the 4th. So it is the contract that we will be using for this board election.
That's our cost of $29.65.
And I guess
Nothing's changed from
no,
Same.
same. We just changed the dates, rolled it over.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Moving on to item C, 2024-2025 budget adoption calendar. Ms. Barca?
This is actually a little early, but we like to bring it to you around this time because, as you see in the activities, actions, and responsibilities, there are many players and people responsible for doing certain activities, and so this helps us plan and also follow legal and recommended procedures so that we make the deadline for adoption of our budget, which is before June 30th. It can be edited going forward if we find that we have conflicts in dates or changes in dates, but as of now, this is what we think will work the best to make sure we meet the goal of adopting the June 30th deadline.
And in the past, well, for the past 2 years, we've had anywhere from 2 to 3 budget workshops. So we went ahead and did put 3 in there. Lots of times that third one isn't necessary, but sometimes it is. So even by putting that third budget workshop in there, we will be okay within our timeline. You'll see that our office starts already in February, putting out what we call our wish list to our departments, looking at our maintenance plans, and seeing what priorities are.
I believe workshops are Thursdays. We set them for Thursdays, and then if there's action items, they're on regular agenda dates. We try to put them there. So it was a little, we worked hard to make sure we didn't have too many extra meetings.
Is it this year that we were rolling further back on?
Not to September, not yet. It'll have to be the following year. And that'll be some of the things we start to discuss in this budget workshop to see if that's still the direction that we want to go. For this year, what'll be different is that there's not a legislative session. So last summer, it was really hard because there was a legislative session, so we were waiting to hear what are they going to do, what are they not going to do. but this year is not a legislative session. So we will have a few more things that are a little more concrete than what we did this past summer.
And the other one will flip over, it'll be easier moving forward.
And I think we've been having that conversation, and I think we kind of want to share the pros and cons with you all to see if that is a direction that we want to go. Because one of the things that happens is that then when we plan this year's budget, we have to plan to pay salaries all the way through September instead of ending in June, because we're going to start the September budget. So it will add like 3 more months of salary to the next year's budget. So we'll have some comparisons to show y'all during the budget workshop process. And we will be reaching out to TASB for the assistance with the salaries as well. So they usually help us with those numbers.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to adopt 2024-2025 budget calendar? I have a motion from Guillermo Guzman to adopt the 2024-2025 budget adoption calendar.
Awesome.
Second from Witt. All in favor? Unanimous. Moving on to item D, budget amendments. We have no Item number 7, superintendent's report.
So superintendent's report just lists all the upcoming events. We're very excited about this Friday. There's no school. We do have a number of students participating in our livestock show. So no school on the 12th. And then on the 15th, on Monday, no school for the MLK holiday. So we came back today, but they come back to a 4-day week this week and a 4-day week next week. So works out pretty good. And we'll have 1 full week, and then we do have a flex day on January the 26th and a flex day on February 9th. We did meet with our staff before the Christmas break, and we did let them know that we're trying to free up more of their flex day for them to have time to plan and do the things that they need to do in the classroom. We're just about done with all the required trainings, so we're hoping to be able to give the teachers and the staff back some time for planning and collaboration. So they've got 2 days coming up, the 26th and February 9th. Then our regularly scheduled board meeting will be February the 12th. And then we have Professional Development Day on February the 16th. That Professional Development Day, the focus is going to be GT. So we have some required GT training. Depending on the teacher, they may need just an update. They may need part of the full 30-hour requirements, but we will be focusing on GT training on February the 16th. Then President's Day holiday on February the 19th. One of the things that we usually do in February is the superintendent's performance goals, and last year we did that as a board workshop. So I don't know if you want to do it on the regular day and come in early, like do the board workshop 5 to 6, or you want to pick a different day. So we just kind of left it there for y'all to look at your calendars and tell us what works for the superintendent's performance goals. We could do it that same week and do like a Monday, Thursday if we're doing the budget workshops. Or one Monday and then the next Monday.
You want to make a decision on that now, or
It's up to you. We normally discuss it during this, and then we will even put it on the calendar. But if y'all don't feel quite ready to make a decision,
you want it before the 19th?
We usually do it in February.
Yes, before the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a meeting on the 6th, a meeting on the 12th, and a meeting on the 20th.
So looking at last year, we did it on a Thursday, so I think we did our regular meeting on the Monday and then we did it that Thursday.
So about the 15th?
I'd be fine with the 15th.
Okay, the 15th. So,
I'll be going with the
What month is it?
February.
I'll be-
What about the 8th?
The week of the 8th. I'm available the 8th or 15th.
What, the 8th?
8th is fine.
8th?
Yeah.
8th?
I'm gonna get it scheduled.
Let's do the 8th.
Okay, so tentatively, we'll set it up for the meeting. At 30 works for everybody for workshops.
Yes.
Did we do, when we did superintendent goals last time, it was just, we had a call, right? Kelly said he, okay.
I think we're done here.
Okay. That's good for. All right. Anything else? You good?
I think we're good.
Good.
Okay, moving on to item number 8, closed session.
And we'll go into closed session over in the back.
Okay. Time is 6:36. Pursuant to Texas Law 551.074, discussion regarding personnel, recommendation to hire, letter of resignation, superintendent's under evaluation.
Time is 7:02. Do we have a,
Yeah, we take action.
okay. So first one is a motion to accept a letter of resignation from Ms. Allison Watkinson.
Make the motion to accept.
Second.
Have a motion from Whitney to accept, second from Memo, all in favor?
Yes.
Effective the end of this school year.
It's July 30th, right?
Effective for 23 to end of her 23-24 contract.
Thank you.
2024, 2025? 2023, 2024. And then, second one is to accept the superintendent's evaluation with notes. Motion? I have a motion from Tully,
A second.
second from Memo, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Anything else? We adjourn at 7:04.
Run.